Welcome back. Today, we're digging into a technology that's quietly rewiring our world, from the traffic lights in your city to the watch on your wrist. It's the Internet of Things, or IoT for short. Let's jump right in.
So, let's start with a couple of big questions. What if your city could actually talk to you? Or what if your home could anticipate your needs? This isn't science fiction anymore. This is the reality that's being built right now, thanks to the Internet of Things. It's a technology that's literally giving a digital voice to everyday objects.
Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we'll get a clear definition of what IoT really is. Then, we'll look at how it's creating smarter cities and industries. After that, we're going to peek under the hood at the building blocks that make it all tick. We'll also have to tackle the huge topic of security, and finally, we'll look at what's just around the corner in this connected world.
All right, first things first. Before we can get into all the cool applications, we need to be on the same page about what we even mean when we say the Internet of Things.
So, at its core, IoT is really about one simple idea: giving everyday objects, from your thermostat to a massive factory machine, digital senses. We're embedding them with little bits of tech that let them collect information and, this is the crucial part, share that information over the internet.
I really love this analogy. It's like we're giving our physical world a nervous system. The sensors, they're like the nerve endings. The internet, that's the spinal cord. And all the data centers are the brain. This system can literally feel what's happening, send messages about it, and then react.
So, that's the big idea. But what does this look like out in the wild? Let's check out some really powerful ways this is already making a huge difference.
Take the smart city, for instance. We're talking about sensors and roads that monitor traffic in real time and adjust the lights to ease congestion. Or smart trash cans that literally send a message when they're full, so collection routes are way more efficient. It's all about using data to make city life just better.
And it's the same idea for our power supply. A traditional power grid just waits for a problem, like a blackout, and then reacts. But a smart grid, it uses IoT to constantly watch energy use, predict spikes in demand, and can even reroute power to stop an outage before it even starts. It's proactive instead of reactive. It's a total game changer.
Now, in the industrial world, this is a flat-out revolution. Think about it. Machines on an assembly line can now monitor their own health and basically raise a hand and say, hey, I'm going to need maintenance soon, before they break down. That's called predictive maintenance, and it saves companies an unbelievable amount of money and downtime.
Okay, so this all sounds amazing, right? But how does a smart machine actually work? What's going on inside? Let's break down the basic pieces that make up any IoT system.
It really all boils down to two key players. First, you've got sensors. Think of these as the senses of the device. They gather information, like temperature, light, or motion. Then you have the actuators. These are the muscles that actually do something based on that information, like flip a switch, close a valve, or adjust a motor.
And that brings us to the simple four-step loop that is the heart of IoT. First, a sensor gathers data. It senses. Second, that data gets sent over a network. It communicates. Third, it gets analyzed to figure out what it means. Analyze. And finally, an actuator takes an action. It acts. Sense, communicate, analyze, act. That's the magic circle, right there.
Of course, that communicate step is super important, and there's no one-size-fits-all solution. Your smart home stuff probably uses Wi-Fi, but what about a sensor in the middle of a huge farm? It needs something like narrowband IoT that uses very little power. And sometimes you need a decision made instantly. That's where edge computing comes in, letting the device do the thinking right there on the spot, instead of sending data miles away to the cloud.
Now, connecting billions of new gadgets to the internet is creating amazing opportunities. But, and this is a big but, it's also opening up a massive new playground for security risks. And we absolutely have to talk about this. This really gets to the heart of the challenge. Every single smart light bulb, every connected car, every industrial sensor, it's another potential door into our networks for a hacker. Securing this giant, sprawling web of devices is honestly one of the biggest hurdles the entire industry is facing right now.
Yeah, security is this constant battle. On one side, you have the vulnerabilities, someone getting their hands on a device or finding a weak spot in the software. And on the other side, you have the solutions. This means doing things like threat modeling, which is basically just thinking like a hacker to find weaknesses first, and, of course, using really strong encryption to lock down all the data.
So, with all that in mind, what's on the horizon? Where is the Internet of Things headed next? Well, a huge part of the answer lies in the network that connects everything together.
I mean, just look at how mobile networks have evolved. Each new generation unlocks something totally new. 4G gave us the mobile internet that we all use every day. But 5G? 5G is different. It wasn't just built for faster phones. It was designed from the ground up to handle a massive, interconnected world of devices. Yup, 5G is the key. It delivers ultra-low latency. That's a fancy way of saying there's virtually zero lag, which is critical for stuff like the Internet of Vehicles, where cars need to talk to each other instantly. It can handle millions of devices packed into a small area, like in a smart city, and it's got the speed for all that data. It's the technology that really unlocks the full, mind-blowing potential of the IoT.
And so that's where we land, with this one final thought. We've seen how IoT is already reshaping our world, from the factory floor to the city street. As this tech gets even more powerful and woven into our lives, the real question isn't if more of our world will come online, but what will it truly look like when everything, and I mean everything, is connected.